Nintendo news, viewer questions, player spotlight, and our Nintendo Time Portal is all coming up. Stay tuned! The Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast starts shortly. Support this podcast by blasting that like button, sharing the stream, and subscribing right now. Nintendo news, viewer questions, player spotlight, and our Nintendo Time Portal is all coming up. Stay tuned! gamers, get ready! The Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast with your host, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard, starts right now.
All right, and welcome, guys. Welcome to the Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast, episode 26. This is pretty awesome. It is June 29th, 2018. We are live dual streaming once again on both YouTube and Facebook. So welcome to all of you out there. We have JKW, our sponsor. We have Biwa, Dank, Amber, Simon, Megan, Splatty Cowboys out there. We got a Trayvon. Good to see all of you. How are you doing today? I could have called this episode Wolfen Crash, I guess. But because we have some big releases today. If you joined us earlier this afternoon, we actually streamed for launch day Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. We had a good time with it too, about an hour and a half. And of course, as you guys know, I've been talking about in the chat here, pre-podcast, Crash. The N-SANE trilogy is out right now on the Switch, of course, and other platforms too. But I have it in my hands right here. Just arrived from Amazon today. Didn't open yet, so I thought I'd open it with you guys on stream tonight. And again, this is podcast episode 26. We got Samantha coming on the line with us here in a little bit to talk about the Nintendo news. Got our time portal, your questions, and a review to talk about as well. So a full lineup today. And before we get into any of that, let's open this up really quickly here. We'll be doing a poll with you guys as well. So this time of the year is kind of hard as far as what games do you get, especially if you're limited to a certain budget or whatever. So let me know in chat what games you have on your to-get list. So here we go. We're going to open this up and check it out. So, of course, there's 3 games here with this trilogy. All right, smelling cardboard there. There it is. Very cool. Nice box art. So, all right, 2 bonus levels included. Stormy Ascent and Future Tense. All right, original 3 games remastered. And hey, look at this, guys. That lower right corner, it says Activision. They haven't done too much for the Switch, have they? But here we go. With a pretty cool collection of Crash games. I've never played these before, so this is a first for me. So you'll probably see me play this on the channel at some point, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, never played this series at all, so I'm very hyped about that. All right. JKW says Wolfenstein, Crash, and Smash. There you go. And BWAD says I have everything I want now. There you go. That's a good way to think about it, yeah? Well, all right, guys, let's take a break here, and we'll come back with Samantha and the Nintendo News Bites very soon. Stay back. Be right back.
You're listening to the Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast with your host, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard. We'll be right back after the short break. Grab the audio version of the Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast on iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or Player FM. You're listening to the Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast with your host, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard.
All right, quick break, guys. Yeah, so got a ton of stuff to talk to you today regarding Nintendo news. Some big announcements, too, mixed in. We got Samantha Lienhard, our writer and editor, back. Welcome back, Samantha.
Thank you.
And I should say welcome back to, I guess, your home area, too, because last week you were on the road. So it actually worked out quite well. You sounded really well last podcast, so hopefully it continues on being at home now. I won't jinx anything. But how did your event go out there where you were?
Oh, it went pretty good.
Awesome. All right, and how has the week been regarding news thus far up till today, which is Friday?
Oh, pretty busy. We've got some kind of big news, too.
Yeah, a mixture of things here. A lot of you probably know some of that big news. But let's kick things off here regarding Nintendo News Bites and, of course, the Nintendo Switch news. And we'll begin with this. We have quietly announced localization. This is really interesting, and this is for the RPG soccer game Inazuma 11 Ares. So why was this quietly confirmed to get localized? Do you know?
Well, they did. I don't know. They didn't actually officially announce that it's coming west. They just had a press release where they discussed all of their plans, and they were discussing, I believe, the Western release of the anime. And there's just a line at the bottom that says, "This also includes the release of the video game in 2019," or something like that. So it's sort of like they didn't actually announce it. Just it's part of the press release that people noticed.
Right. So it's kind of like more like maybe like a business thing or something to add into the press release, and not wanting to have it fully announced or whatever. Yeah, that's really interesting. So that's good news, though. If you guys are interested in this series, again, this is like an RPG, soccer or football type game, so that's really cool. We have Josh on Facebook asking, when's the NES Classic coming back out? It's out right now, actually, I believe. I saw a bunch of notifications today. I think that was for the NES Classic, being in stores and online, too. And I know the SNES Classic was out a couple weeks back. I actually saw them in Target for the first time on the shelf. I saw actually 3 of them sitting there. So, but yeah, I think NES Classic is out right now. So
yes, I think today it came back in stock today.
Yeah, so I don't want to say this, but I have to. Don't watch the podcast. Go get your NES Classic, and then watch the replay because I'm not sure how long they'll be in stock for. But yeah, get them now while you can, guys. I know. I think Cliff got his today too. The Game Informer. Some of you in chat were talking about it too, so that's cool. Yeah, keep looking for them online, guys, too. I saw them go on and off with notifications all day long, so keep online and keep checking in stores, too, if you want yours. All right, so back on to the news bites here. All right, so Yokai Watch 4 was officially unveiled with a short teaser trailer. Anything to note regarding the trailer at all, Samantha?
Well, it's a very short trailer, so it doesn't show too much. There's no gameplay or anything that's been shown yet, but it looks like maybe there's some sort of time travel going on or something. The trailer appears to show the protagonist from the original games meeting up with the protagonists from the newest anime series that is set more in the future. So It seems like there might be some sort of time travel going on there.
Oh, really neat. So we got some more Yokai Watch news to talk to you later about too, everybody. Of course, you probably guys know what that's about already, but we'll bring it up and talk about it too. All right, so cool. All right, then we have an action-adventure game called Thimble. This has been announced for all major consoles. This is coming when?
Yeah, so this is coming in November, and so this has a Norse-inspired story.
Okay, excellent. And this has a very interesting art style as well as watching some or seeing some screenshots of it too. So
yes, it's got some sort of comic book narrative style they're going.
Yeah, very cool. So Thimble, keep an eye on this for November. All right, and then Black Sad Under the Skin is a pretty interesting name for a game, and this is coming to all major consoles, including the Switch, in 2019. Nothing specific, just 2019. And right. What is this about?
Okay, so this is based on a comic series, I believe. I was not familiar with it before.
Me either.
But so this is an adventure game set in that universe, and the main character is an anthropomorphic cat.
Oh,
it looks like all of the characters are anthropomorphic animals.
Very interesting. So this is the narrative adventure game, and this is called Black Sad Under the Skin. Really cool. All right, so good to see you guys in chat. We got Megan, Simon, Amber, Dank, Rabbit. Good to see all of you. And of course, Anita, Fluffy, Biwa, all of you guys out there. All right, so moving on in the news bites, Subara City is coming to the Switch. When I first heard this, I'm like, oh, Sim City. Oh, no, it's Subara City. And this is nothing like Sim City per se. This is more or less a puzzle kind of city building game, I think. So it's like a puzzle game at heart.
Yes.
And this is coming to the Switch in August, in Japan only, as far as we know, right?
So far, yes, although it's being published by Fly High Works and Circle Entertainment. I believe I can't think of which ones it is now for sure. They've done other things that were localized. So
okay.
It's I think, and it's also on the 3DS. Is the 3DS version in English?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's on the eShop here on the Nintendo.com website, I believe. So yeah, I think it is. Pretty sure.
So that makes it more likely.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at it right now. So yeah, there we go. Yeah. Looks like, yeah, it has to be English. It's on the Nintendo.com eShop. So there you go, guys. So and it goes for $3.99 right now digitally. So that's cool. Awesome. We got Marco on Facebook. Hey, Marco, how are you? Welcome to the podcast. All right, so I believe this is like a visual novel. This is the Lion Song. Is that right?
It's sort of a visual novel adventure game. I actually played this one on the PC when it came out.
Oh, nice. So it's coming to the eShop then on July 10th, so about 11 days away or so. And this will go for $9.99. And then, of course, we should have named this podcast Carnival Games. We have Carnival Games, which you're probably familiar with if you played the Wii version of this game. A bunch of mini games, basically, based around the Carnival, and I guess they'll continue with the motion controls in this game here. This has been announced for the Switch, and it goes for $39.99. This comes out this holiday, November 6th, so keep your eyes on that, or close them. You ever play Carnival Games on the Wii at all, Samantha?
No, in fact, I hadn't heard of it. It seems like from their announcement that they actually sold quite a bit, but no, I actually missed it.
Yeah, I think they were playing off just the fact that it had motion controls at the time, but the motion controls weren't very good at all. They were very janky. They weren't responsive. So maybe they changed that here. Who knows? Maybe. I'll give them benefit of the doubt, but we'll see how that turns out. All right, we have a new announcement then, too, including a new trailer for a game coming to the Switch. What's this called?
Yeah, so this is called Tanzia, and it is a 3D action RPG. And so this is coming on July 19th for $19.99, and they also mentioned that there's a discount for pre-orders.
Awesome, that's good to know. Megan says in chat here on YouTube, visual novel games are awesome. You played quite a few. That's cool. Well, if you get a Switch eventually, Megan, you'll have a ton of games to play because there are tons of visual novels coming and out for the Switch. So, any new games for the Wii U? Michael says on Facebook. I don't think so. We had maybe one or two that came out. I think the past few weeks that were due out for a long time. They finally came out, but that was about it. They're all kind of eShop games. So, but nothing big. I think Just Dance is coming. However, it's coming to the Wii, not the Wii U. So, Just Dance again, 2019 coming to, or is it 2018? Whatever the new one is coming to the Switch and the Wii, which is pretty amazing. And this time, being in 2018 now. So, all right. So, got a bunch of release dates here to talk about, going July all the way through 2019. So, this is what we learned about for this week regarding release dates. Kick things off here, Samantha, with July 5th. What game is this?
All right, so the July 5th is Ultra Space Battle Brawl, which I can't remember if we talked about before or not, but this is sort of a party game that's part fighting game, part Pong. Interesting.
Pretty cool mishmash of things there. So there's a new trailer available as well, which we have linked to on NintendoChitChat.com, so check that out. And it's for July 5th. All right, and July 6th has what?
Yeah, so July 6th then is The Wardrobe, which I believe we discussed previously. This is the one where you're playing a skeleton who's trying to save his friend's soul. It's an adventure game. So so there's also a new trailer for that one too.
Cool. All right, so that's July 6th. And then July 9th brings us Pato or Pato? I'm going to say Pato, I don't know. But Pato Box. And I had to look this up. This is actually really interesting to me. I'm not sure if we spoke about this earlier or not, but I don't think we did.
I think we might have when it was first announced.
Okay, yeah, we may have come across it once. So July 9th is release date. This is actually a boxing game, but not a boxing game, right? You're playing the game as like a boxing champion, I believe. So it's kind of like an RPG-esque game, or I'm not quite sure. Do you know?
I think more like sort of a action-adventure thing, maybe a fighting game. They have mentioned that it was inspired by Punch-Out, so that's sort of what the combat is like.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. Adventure fighting, so there you go. And this is inspired by Punch-Out, so it's actually on Steam right now, too. So this is coming to the Switch then on July 9th. Cool. Then last week we spoke about this one. This is Hiroki, and this is a mobile game that's coming to the Switch on July 20th. This is like an action or adventure type game, so look for that on July 20th. And then what do we have August 28th?
So August 28th is Blade Strangers, which we've discussed quite a bit lately, and that they also announced the price. That'll be $39.99.
Yeah, Nicholas has been tweeting a lot with regarding characters coming to the game, so it looks like it's a pretty nice character roster for Blade Strangers, so looking forward to this. All right, then September we have a couple of them. We have the physical edition of Cat Quest, actually, for Europe, will be on the 7th of September, and then the 11th for North America. That's for the physical edition of Cat Quest. Digital copy was already out, or digital version was already out for a while now, so those dates are for the physical copies only. All right, and then September 27th brings us what, Samantha?
Yeah, so that will be the Japanese release date for The World Ends With You Final Remix. We're still waiting for a release date for the West.
Okay, and we may have come across it once. So July 29th is release date. This is actually a Cool. And then we get a new Toe Jam and Earl game. This is back in the groove. This is a new game, yeah, or it's not?
Yeah, so this is a new one. I believe it was kickstarted a while ago, and so now they've recently announced the consoles that it's coming to. So that is going to come out in the fall.
Awesome. I haven't played a Toe Jam and Earl game since the original, I think, on Sega Genesis. It's been a long time. They're actually pretty fun games, too. They're kind of platforming, kind of action games in a sense, so a little bit of adventure mixed in. So pretty cool characters, and looking forward to this. All right, and then early 2019, Cat Quest 2 was revealed, and this is called the Lupus Empire. So we have a trailer. We have that linked on the website, NintendoChitChat.com. Go check that out for yourselves if you're interested in that. All right, we've got a bunch of more trailers and details to talk about, too. And so we have the box art, again, for Blade Strangers just came out. Looks really nice. This is just a very cropped version of it on the screen for you guys right now, but do check it out. We have it linked on the website. And then for Team Sonic Racing, we have some playable characters, including which three?
Yes, so they announced Amy Rose, Big the Cat, and 4 Chow, I believe is how they say it. So that's going to be 4 of them as a single racer. So those 3 have been announced.
Very cool. So learning of some more characters for this game. Looking forward to seeing how this plays out. What do you guys think in chat regarding Team Sonic Racing? Hopefully it turns out to be a pretty good racer. I want it to be good, so we'll see. All right, then we have a challenge mode highlighted in a new trailer for the Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2. That trailer is available and linked to our website as well. That's available for you. Go check it out. And then we have 11 minutes of footage for The Messenger, some gameplay for that game. So anything new in that gameplay of The Messenger?
No, nothing particularly new. I believe it is gameplay that was shown at E3, but now they uploaded it so everyone can see it.
Okay, very nice. So that's The Messenger. And then we have more news for Little Dragon's Cafe, which we always seem to be mentioning here almost every podcast. So what do we have here? 2 more characters, right?
Yes, and so what was it? Last time we had a ghost and some sort of cat idol, was it?
Yeah,
and, well, this time we've got a fortune teller and a vampire. So as you can see, they're
Quite
going to have
roster.
some unusual customers.
That's really cool. And don't forget, you can change the color of your dragon depending on what you feed it, guys. We learned that a few weeks back. That's pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to this game, Little Dragon's Cafe. So, all right, then some more news regarding Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. They will include accessories for your Pokemon. Now, what does this mean exactly?
Yeah, so this is like dressing up your Pokemon, that sort of
okay.
thing, like little accessories that you can put on them to decorate them with. I'm not sure if they specified if it's only Pikachu and Eevee or if it's all of them. I think it might be all of them.
Okay, that's pretty neat. And then we have, sure, as you look it up, I'll go into the next one here. We have some new details regarding Nelky and the Legendary Alchemist. Will be revealed in a live stream on July 10th, so about a week and a half away. If you're curious about this game, go check it out. Go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually, the way it was announced, at least it's only Pikachu or Eevee that gets the accessories. So you won't be able to put ribbons on all of your Pokemon.
Well, what good is that then if you can't put them? So they're kind of catering to like each one of the. Okay, that makes sense though. I guess that's cool. All right, so if you're interested in this new Alchemist game, go to the live stream on July 10th. Again, this is more like a town building type game I think we talked about last week or the week before, so a little bit different take on this series. So go check it out on July 10th for that live stream. Moving on to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night has a new story trailer as well. Anything new regarding this story trailer, Samantha?
Nothing particularly new, although it does show some of the gameplay, so you can take a look and see how that's coming along. It looks a little stiff at times, but in general, it's looking good.
Okay. Yeah, so do check it out, guys. Again, all of these are linked onto the news article here at NintendoChitChat.com. All right, then an overview trailer is available for World End Syndrome. Anything in this trailer to talk about?
Well, one thing that I found interesting was I thought that it was just like a which is a pure visual novel, but it looks, at least the trailer's in Japanese, so it's hard to tell exactly what's going on, but it looks like there's some sort of map that players will be able to pick locations from. So I think there might be some more adventure game elements to it.
Yeah, that would be nice to see. Okay, that's cool. All right, then we also have a new trailer, then 5 minutes worth, shows off gameplay for Pro Yaku Famista Evolution. This is this baseball game, this Japanese baseball game. And I actually watched the trailer. This looks actually kind of cool. Again, it's not going to be localized that we know of yet, but it's a baseball game. It's mostly action or simulation type baseball, so you probably could import it and just pretty much play pretty easily. But there's some new modes. There's like an island league, I think, in this game. Also, I saw a softball league, too, which is pretty interesting. So they're mixing softball into baseball. So you actually have softball leagues. Of course, they pitch underhand with a bigger ball. That's what softball is. So that's pretty cool. And again, the trailer shows off all of that. It's 5 minutes worth of some gameplay plus some real live actors kind of playing. Also, motion controls are in the game too, so it looks really neat. All right, then we have a debut console trailer for Nekopara Volume 1. It also includes Volume 0, is that right?
Yeah, so Volume 0 was, I believe, a fan disc that fans created, so then that was also released. So it's being bundled with Volume 1 for the console release.
Okay. That's pretty nice. So we have some new characters being introduced in this trailer as well. All right, that kind of wraps up our trailers and details here for this week, guys. Moving along to updates and DLC. Yeah, glad you know what softball is now, Biwa. I had to explain it, didn't I? The reason I explain it is because if you just say softball is mixed with baseball, they're not quite sure what that means. So that's why I explained what softball, how they actually played. They're not just adding a softball into actual baseball, but the pitcher's actually pitching underhand, so it's an actual softball game as opposed to just baseball. So there you go. That clears it up. I'm not sure if it did. It'd probably make it more confusing. All right, so we have updates and DLC. Let's do this. We have the version 1.5 update is now available for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and this adds the Toy-Con motorbike, which we all knew was probably coming to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so that's kind of cool. And you can check out some gameplay of that yourselves as well. Do any of you in chat actually have the Toy-Con motorbike? And if you do, let us know how you like it, and if you like it in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's pretty neat. All right, we got a new update for Super Bomberman R again as well. Konami here continuing to improve and release more content and updates for the game. So what do we have for this update, Samantha?
Yes, so this is adding 9 new characters, 3 new stages, some new accessories, and a new Grand Prix feature where you try to take over certain areas marked with checkpoints.
Awesome. So that is
a fairly sizable update.
Yeah, well, the 9 new characters is pretty good for sure, and the new stages are always welcome. So that's awesome. Yeah, it's a good update. So version 2.1 is what it is now. So check that out. Your game should automatically update.
For people who are concerned about the voices and things, David Hayter is voicing the Solid Snake and Naked Snake in Super Bomberman R.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because those characters were added to the game. That's true. Good. Good notes. All right. Does he have a butt in the game, though? Does he have a butt, guys, in the game at all? Apparently, it's a big thing for Smash Ultimates. They removed his butt in the game and made it more flat. So, does he have a butt in Super Bomberman R or not? Let us know. Probably has no butt in Super Bomberman R, just legs. Legs and a torso is what it is. But, all right, so Mario Tennis Aces, we got a small little update here, version 1.1.1. Anything of note for the update?
Well, they're adding a rating feature to the online tournaments and just making some general changes of how certain things work, like in adventure mode. They've changed how some of the opponents react, and there were some bugs where things weren't coming through right, so they fixed those. So some bug fixes, some adjustments, and a couple new features.
Not bad. So we're getting new characters, of course, for this game. As you guys know, I think a few rounds of characters. I know one's coming soon and one later this year with Birdo, which I'm very hyped for. So looking forward to that. All right, good. All right, we got some Nintendo Switch and 3DS news here. And this is a game I never actually played before. Teddy Together. Did you ever play this game at all, Samantha?
Well, no, but it never came out in North America.
Right. It was only in Europe
Japan, then it was released in Europe.
Yeah. I actually heard it sold pretty well, and apparently it is because it's getting a sequel on both the Switch and the 3DS. What's the sequel called?
Yeah, so the sequel is Nekotomo, and so instead of a bear in this one, you have 2 cats that you will be befriending.
Looks pretty cute. So it goes from being more about teddy bears to now cats. Interesting. All right, and then of course the big news really of the day, besides Yokai Watch 4, is Yokai Watch Blasters. And of course 2 games here, which are titled what?
Yeah, so these are Yokai Watch Blasters Red Cat Corps and Yokai Watch Blasters White Dog Squad. And these are, of course, the Yokai Watch Busters spin-offs, as they were called in Japan. So they are being localized, and they will be out on September 7th.
Awesome. So plenty of time for the fall here and the holiday season to have these in your grasp, in your hands. So are you guys going to be getting both, or just Red Cat Corps or White Dog Squad? Which are you getting? Let us know in chat. And we'll talk about one more game here, and then we'll go to break. We'll also put a poll in chat here with you guys regarding Crash, but we'll take care of the rest of the news here really quickly first. So we have some new news regarding entry in Odyssey X. We have several optional small labyrinths being included. Is that right?
Yeah, so they had mentioned it briefly before. There would be optional labyrinths, but they just went into a little more detail that there will be these smaller labyrinths on the world map that you can visit. They also discussed how you can have NPCs accompany you with certain beneficial results, and that guild cards, which have been in some of the past games, are also returning in this one.
That sounds great. This game's shaping up to be a pretty good, solid exit for the 3DS regarding this series, so that's great. And let's see here. We got Dimitri said he's getting White Dog. That's good. And Amethyst as well, getting White Dog. So we'll see. I'll probably end up getting both just because I want to kind of cover them for the channel here. But if I were to pick, I'd probably go White Dog as well. All right. So, guys, before we go to break here with Samantha, I'm going to ask you a question in chat here, the poll. Have you ever played a Crash game before? Yes or no? Pretty simple. By voting, let us know. You get 2 minutes to do that. We'll come back with Samantha here in a break right after this. See you guys soon. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast with your hosts, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard. We'll be right back after the short break. Visit our website at NintendoChitChat.com and catch up on everything Nintendo. Grab the audio version of the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast on iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or Player FM. You're listening to the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast with your hosts, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast, episode 26. We went to break here. We asked you guys, have you ever played a Crash game before? Yes or no? I mentioned I have not at the top of the podcast when I actually unboxed my copy of the N-SANE trilogy right here. So if one of the mods can let us know what the results are of that poll, we have about 30 seconds left. Let me know. I think I saw a lot of no's, which is really cool because I think some of you are kind of young, and I'm very curious to see. All right, cool. So Samantha, we actually have a review to talk about this week, which is great, and also next week too. Yes. But I figured we just do one this week and then one next week would make sense. And what review is this for?
Yeah, so this is for Puda or Pod, as we discussed in the interview. They'll accept either pronunciation now.
Oh, that's right.
Most people were saying Pod.
Yes, that's right. I do recall that because we did interview them. I think back. I think it was April already. So. It was a few months back, and if you guys missed that interview for the developers of Pod, go check it out on our website. And we see Amethyst says that no, you guys have not played Crash. That won the most votes. So interesting. Very cool. Thanks, guys, for doing that and for voting. All right. So, Samantha, I guess you can explain first, what kind of game is this?
Yeah, so this is a puzzle game. The basic idea is that a fallen star is trying to get back home up into the sky, and so he teams up with a rock, and they work together by solving puzzles to climb this mountain to get him up high enough to go back into the sky. So there's puzzles based on their unique abilities. So the rock, for example, can magnetize switches and pick up items, and the star can bring plants to life, which activates certain platforms and things like that. So the basic idea is that you will be figuring out how to use their abilities together to get through each area.
Are you kind of switching back and forth between each character then as you're doing the puzzles then, or how does that work exactly?
Yes, if you're playing alone. You can also play it co-op, in which case the other player will control the other character, and then you'll just do it naturally like that. But if you're playing alone, yes, there's a button that just switches which character you're controlling, so that's pretty simple.
So I'm assuming you just played it by yourself then, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just assuming I probably would be too, because I have nobody here to really do that with me either. So I wonder how it would feel as far as the gameplay then working with somebody else directly. I guess it's almost like snipper clips in a sense, where you're kind of working with just, you know, changing back and forth, swapping out, or I think it'd be kind of fun to play with somebody though. So if you have this game, guys, and if you play with somebody co-op directly next to you, I think it's kind of cool. Let me know in chat. But all right, Samantha, so how long was the game entirely from start to finish? How many hours do you know?
Oh boy, I'm not sure because it doesn't actually track your time. Several hours at least. So it was a short game, but not like a really short game. So
Cool.
A few hours.
Right. And what stuck out to you the most regarding, I guess, the puzzles? Was it ramping up in difficulty, or was it kind of some easy ones mixed in too then, or how did it work?
Yeah, that's what I'd say. It started out pretty simple, but then it starts to get complex, and you really have to pay attention to look at what's going on and look to see if there's something that you're missing in the environment to figure out what exactly you're supposed to be doing here. How can I get this character up on that ledge? You know, things like that. So there were some times where I was stumped and had to sit down and
really think
come
it over.
back and take a break.
Yeah,
come back and look at some more. So yeah, so there's some challenging puzzles.
You come back, it's like, oh, duh! Right there's the idea of how to make it work. That's
But they're
pretty cool.
pretty logical. Although there was one that needed very precise positioning.
Ooh.
Precise positioning. So that one was kind of tedious, but that was the only one like that.
Are there any kind of hints you can use in the game if you get stuck at all, or just actually have to just figure it out yourself?
No hints that I found other than just like the basic tutorials, but that doesn't really count.
Okay.
Like early on, there will be like little glyphs on walls telling you what to do until you get to know how to use the abilities, but not other than that.
So are the puzzles set up like in stages or levels then, or is it like one puzzle per stage or multiple puzzles per kind of area, or how does that work in the game?
So there's sort of like little stages, like, okay, it's roughly divided into separate areas, almost like worlds. There's actually a fast travel screen, so you can go back to any area if you missed the collectibles. So each area then has like little stages where your main puzzles will be, I need to get up here to press this switch to let the other character get up here so we can both get to the exit, that sort of thing. But then each world, or it's not really a world, but each larger area also ends with a more puzzly sort of puzzle where you're trying to light up all the rocks, or you know, those sorts of large puzzles that aren't about traversal but are about like solving a riddle more like.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool. Is there any like time limit kind of areas or puzzles at all where you have like a certain amount of time, or any kind of like
No, not really.
gyro aiming anything to shoot anything towards stuff
No.
at all? Or, okay, just curious.
No, nothing like that.
Okay, very cool. So what did you think? How did the story play out? Is there dialogue in the game, like text dialogue, I'm assuming, or like how does the story take place with the puzzles themselves?
Yeah, there's no dialogue at all, which sometimes can make it difficult to sort of convey the story, but I found that it actually did a good job of showing me the friendship between these two characters, because it can be tricky when they don't talk to each other and when you're just using them to solve puzzles. But in this case, there were some cute little touches, like they hold hands to use their abilities together, and
that's cool.
If you try to leave the stage as one before the other has reached the exit, they'll turn around and just wave urgently to the other one. So there's sort of cute little things like that that helped me believe that, yeah, these two characters are friends.
Very cool. I think you mentioned collectibles earlier. What kind of collectibles are there within the game?
The two characters, they can interact with the environment to like bring things to life and make crystals spring up. So the basic collectibles are sort of glyphs that appear on the wall in reaction to the star's light, or special crystals that open up in response to the rock's magnetic field, I guess. So like finding these, there's usually some hidden and maybe sometimes a little trickier to get to than what you just need to do to solve the regular puzzle.
Awesome. It sounds really nice. So this game looks aesthetically really pretty as well. What did you think of the visual presentation for everything?
Oh yeah, I thought that was great. And like one of my favorite things was just walking through with their powers on, watching the grass and flowers spring up and the crystals pop out of the earth. And so yeah, it was very, very beautiful game. That's one of the best parts.
Awesome. Yeah, so the world kind of came alive then as you're solving puzzles and things. That's really neat. Nice little touch. Very cool. So I guess your last word then on this game, Pod. What do you think of it overall?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought there was a couple points that were a little unclear. In fact, one thing seems like it could be easily fixed, which is that there was a section where, like, I'm sure you've had games do it where you learn a new move and then the next puzzle area basically forces you to use that ability to kind of teach you how to use it. There was one area where, because of the forgiving checkpoints, I managed to fall off a ledge and it respawned me on the other side of the puzzle. So I got to the end of that area and I had not learned how to use that mechanic the way I was supposed to. So I think like fixing things like that would help with some of the clarity. That was the only area where that happened to me. But there was another part where I managed to leave a tutorial early and had a similar problem.
So you've got to figure it out yourself then, more or less. That's kind of wild.
Other than things like that, I think it's a pretty good game, especially if you like solving puzzles. And I think the co-op gameplay could be very interesting, because I imagine that you would have to have a lot of communication, saying, all right, you trigger this switch so I can get up here, and now you go over there. So I think that could be interesting, whether you're playing it alone or playing it with someone else.
And I guess the big question lingering over everybody here is, I guess at the end of the game, what happens? Or should we give that away or not? Does the star go back to the sky?
Spoil the ending of the
game.
No,
of course not. But very cool. I thought you might give it away. Of course, don't do that.
I will say I liked the ending.
I should just ask this. Well, does it lead anything to a second game, possibly?
I don't know. I mean, I guess...
Any kind of feelings?
Nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
But I suppose it could be possible.
I do like these two characters. I think it's really cool. With these characters, I think it's a really interesting kind of concept, having just this rock and this star. So there you go, guys. So that is Samantha's review. Go check it out. Again, check out the review and the interview back from April. Do a quick search and find it on our website over at NintendoChitChat.com. All right. Are you ready, Samantha, for some questions, too?
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. We'll close things off here with the time portal. So let me make sure we're all set to go with that. Get rid of that. All right, so if you guys want to ask your questions for the podcast every week, you can email us, NintendoChitChat@gmail.com, or go to Discord. Invite link is below in the YouTube description of this podcast video, and join us there, and go to hashtag NCC-podcast, ask your questions. The more questions you ask, the better, because we have more to choose from. So we've got 3 here that I chose this week, and let's see if she's still here in chat. I know she was early. We have Amber up for the first question today, and Amber asks us, is there a game you think has been getting too much hype? And I'll give Samantha the floor for this to get things going. So Samantha, any games you think are getting too much hype? I guess we'll call them like Nintendo games, of course, and this keep it Nintendo related here.
Yeah, too much hype. That's an interesting question. I mean,
kind of subjective, possibly.
Yeah, there's certainly games that have been hyped up that don't interest me personally, like some of the multiplayer things, like Fortnite, of course, was huge, but I'm sure to the people who are hyping them up, they're wonderful games, and I'm sure there's games that I'd hype up that other people would wonder why I was hyping up. So I don't know, too much hype is like sort of very subjective, difficult to really say.
I'm going to piss people off with my answer. Smash Bros. Ultimate. No, I'm hyped for the game, for Smash Bros. But there's so many other great things coming to the Switch. If you're too hyped for something, you overlook other gems and other things you should be looking at. So just the way I look at it. But any specific game for you, Samantha, at all or not? Probably not.
I don't know.
You don't have to.
Like the multiplayer things, but I know that that's big. It's just not my just sort of thing.
Right. But good question, Amber. It makes you think, though, too. If you guys are hyped for something, it's good to be hyped, but also, take a step back and see what else is out there and available to play. Because I always see people I have to wait till November to play Smash Bros. Or whatever the date, or December, whatever it is now. But you have months to play. Hey, look at this. Crash just came out today, guys. 3 games here for Crash. We have Wolfenstein out now. There's games releasing every day, every week for the Switch. So give the eShop some love, too. Okay, so thanks, Amber. Good question. All right, so we got JKW or a Laggy Raccoon here with our next question. Do you think games like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, or Far Cry will come to the Switch? I'll kick things off with this question. Yeah, I do. As far as Call of Duty, I thought we get this year's installment, but I guess not. So it wasn't announced or spoken for the Switch yet, but I eventually think we'll get a Call of Duty game. Because you figured the Wii U had 2 games for Call of Duty, Ghosts and Black Ops 2, and the Wii didn't do very well. The Wii had plenty of Call of Duty games, and the DS even had Call of Duty games too. So with the Switch continuing to sell gangbusters, I would definitely see that. Grand Theft Auto, possibly. We're getting a lot of mature games here, so that's not out of the question. And Far Cry would be a really good thing to have too. I do like Far Cry series. And of course, we have Panic Button, who just does the work on Doom and Wolfenstein. Very good and knowledgeable developers porting these games are doing a very good job on the Switch. They have an announcement coming up, I think in July, right, Samantha?
Right.
Regarding a port coming to the Switch, or a remake or something they're working on. So it has to be a port of something. I'm thinking GTA, but who knows? That's all we really know is that they're working on something. But Samantha, your turn. What do you think about these games here in general?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of doubtful about GTA or Far Cry, but Call of Duty, like you were saying, they've had entries on the Wii U and the Wii. So with that track record, I think that they'll eventually go to the Switch. They seem to like to have them out on lots of consoles. So I can imagine them eventually bringing Call of Duty to the Switch. I'm not so sure about the other one, though.
Yeah, I think it would be a bigger surprise if we saw GTA or Far Cry, and lesser of a surprise for Call of Duty, of course, like you said. I totally agree with that. All right. Hey, Jenny Jens, good to see you. Good to see all of you in chat, and got Jose on Facebook. Good to see you, Jose. Thanks for watching on Facebook as well. All right, so our last question of the day is Splitty Cowboy, or Yoshi Plays. He was in chat earlier today. What is your favorite Nintendo game console and your favorite game on the system? So as we answer this, Samantha and I, you guys also answer in chat. And I'll read a few out loud if I can, if I see some in chat. So let us know your favorite Nintendo game console and your favorite game on that system. So Samantha, what are your picks or choices for this? It's hard to pick, isn't it?
Yeah, this was a really tough question. Assuming we are including handhelds, I think I'm going to have to go with the Nintendo DS because so many of my favorites are on it or started there, like Ace Attorney, Professor Layton, The World Ends With You, Ghost Trick. So there's like so many favorites that I have there that I think I'm going to pick the DS. And for my favorite, I guess I would have to then go with the third Ace Attorney game, Trials and Tribulations.
All right, great choices. Yeah, I was thinking about handheld consoles as well, so we can include that here for sure. It's still a gaming console, so whether it be handheld or a home console. So yeah, I also picked the DS. I picked Mario Kart DS, actually. I love that game on the DS. Lots of snaking going on in Mario Kart DS, but it was a great game on the system. And I also enjoyed new Super Mario Brothers on the system as well. And if I had to pick 2 systems, it would be the Super Nintendo as well, and F-Zero. So there you go. Those are my games and the systems. So Dank mentions the DS had Pokemon Platinum. Yes. Amethyst says Nintendo 3DS with Fire Emblem Awakening. Good choices. So keep posting your comments regarding this question. We have Hannah coming in saying, I guess, the Wii with Mario Kart Wii. Good games, good system, very cool. So keep plugging away in chat, guys. I'll catch up with a few of those in a moment. All right, we have the player spotlight of the week coming up here. So thanks for your questions again, guys. Go to our Discord, ask away there. After the podcast is the best because everything kind of fresh on your mind, or email us your questions. NintendoChitChat@gmail.com. All right, Dimitri says, Wii, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Good one. Good job. All right. And Amber says, this is hard. I'd say Super Mario on the old NES. Good choice as well. You can't really go wrong with your favorite. It's your favorite systems and games, guys, not ours. Although we answered ours, but it's yours, about you this time. All right, cool. So Splatty Cowboy, Yoshi Plays is our player spotlight. He's been to a lot of our community streams almost all of the time. He's always in the podcast at some point. He was here earlier tonight. He's always in Discord. And wish him a big congratulations in Discord and on YouTube chat. Guys, go tag him right now in Discord. And a big shout out to Splatty Cowboy or Yoshi Plays, a.k.a. There you go. Congratulations to you. Okay, it is time for the time portal. And this is where we kind of delve back into Nintendo history, looking at some older game releases, whether it be a few years or even 20 years ago, and events too. Sometimes even hardware is mixed into this. So Samantha, was there a lot of choices for this week?
Yes, there were. In fact, even though I didn't include them, it seems like there was a lot of Mega Man games came out last week and this week.
I've noticed that, yeah. So kind of the time of the year, I guess. All right, so let's kick things off with issue 22 here. And this is, I still consider to be a hidden gem here on the Wii U. And what is this, Samantha?
Yeah, so this is Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. And so this came out on June 24th, 2016 in North America and Europe, and then in the Australasia regions on the 25th. I was surprised, actually, that it was only 2 years. For some reason, in my mind, I had it as being earlier.
Yeah, it was like a latecomer to the Wii U, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, of course, this one was somewhat overlooked for several reasons. I think the confusing title couldn't have helped having a sharp symbol in there. And, of course, because people didn't expect this to be the Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem crossover, to be this Persona-esque idol game.
Yeah, it was announced way early as well with little to know about it, I think was part of the problem. So you had this combination of these franchises, you know, Fire Emblem, of course, taking the major cake there, I think, for people's attention. And people saw it then, I guess, was it E3 or more directs we had showing the game after a couple of years, I think. And they're like, okay, what happened to it? So, yeah, I think the problem was it was announced way too early.
Something much darker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And so then they come out with this bright, colorful
although,
music everywhere.
do not overlook the game. It scored really well, and like I said, it's a hidden gem. Hopefully this gets ported over to the Switch, and I think it will eventually, whether it be even a couple of years from now. I think they'll eventually bring it over because they should, to give it more sales. It deserves it. But very cool. All right, we got some Kirby in the time portal as well. So this is for Kirby 64. And this is the Crystal Shards, released in North America on June 26th. Anything to note about Kirby 64, Samantha?
Yeah, so this was June 26, 2000, which then this was the first and only Kirby game on the Nintendo 64. And so one interesting thing I found is that this was the first game where there were sections where you played as King DDD.
Very cool. I never played this Kirby game before on the Kirby 64, so I have to eventually play it. Yeah, let me know, guys, in chat if you ever played Kirby 64 at all. I love Kirby games. I never played that one. All right. Then we have a Final Fantasy one in our time portal here for this week, June 28th. We have which one?
Yes, so this is Final Fantasy Adventure, and this first came out in Japan for the Game Boy on June 28th, 1991. And so this, we get some confusing title issues here, because this, despite being called Final Fantasy Adventure, is the first game in the Mana series.
Oh, wow.
Because I think they started as a Final Fantasy spin-off. I think I've heard before that there was the feeling that Final Fantasy, because the name had recognition by that point, putting the Final Fantasy name on something was a good idea. So yeah, so this Final Fantasy Adventure is the first game in the Mana series. And so just to make things even more confusing, when it was released in Europe, they called it Mystic Quest, which is not the same as the spin-off Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So that's lots of title confusion there.
Yeah, that's a bad way to do things, for sure. Oh my gosh. What a mistake that probably was at the time, you know, regarding marketing and things. I
they called Final Fantasy Mystic Quest in Europe. I can't remember what it was, but I think they put something else in the title to try to distinguish the two, but that's still very confusing.
Jeez. All right, then moving along, we have, let's see here, we have our last one then for June 30th. And this is Tales of the Abyss, comes to the 3DS in Japan on June 30th. And what date? What year was that? It was 2011, right?
Yes, June 30th, 2011. Tales of the Abyss, which had previously been a PlayStation 2 title, was brought to the 3DS.
Very cool. Never played that game on the 3DS. Never played Final Fantasy Adventure either. So a few have not played at all. So very cool time portal. All right, guys, that wraps up issue 22. And again, you can always access the time portal via our website, NintendoChitChat.com. All right, Samantha, great podcast with you this week. Anything you want to kind of plug or talk about before we head out?
Oh, I was just going to mention that I thought I would also have my copy of the Crash Bandicoot N-SANE trilogy here.
Oh, nice.
But for some reason, it's not coming until July 10th.
Oh, really?
So,
wow.
On July 10th, I'll have it.
Did you order from Amazon? Who did you order from?
Yeah, I ordered it from Amazon quite a while ago, and usually they're pretty fast about these things, but today I was like, it's not here, so I checked, and it's
They may have done like a second production run or something, maybe? I don't know. It's really odd for it to be like a week and a half later, yeah. But there you go.
I pre-ordered it back in March, so...
Jeez, that's crazy. Well, now you have 2 weeks or so, or a week and a half to get something else done in your backlog, right?
Yes.
So, all right, guys, we're going to end things here. Thanks, Samantha, and we'll talk to you then next week in episode 27 of the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast.
All right.
Have a good weekend. All right, guys, we're going to end things here with that. And again, so N-SANE, Crash N-SANE trilogy is out right now. Of course, Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus as well. And we're going to kick things out of here. You guys are great. Thanks all for joining us here. Make sure you guys blast the like button on the way out and share it too. And we'll see you guys back here next week, if not before. Take care.
Grab the audio version of the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast on iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or Player FM. Visit our website at NintendoChitChat.com and catch up on everything Nintendo.